Hi everyone, this is Felicia. You can see me waving hi right there. Anyway, that photo right there that I'm drumming my fingers by is what I'm going to be scrapping. It is a photo of my scrap room, and I'll hold it up close there so you can see it. I decided to go ahead and scrap that because it was clean, it was neat at the time, and I thought that'd be a great thing to do. Plus, it's basically for the Victoria Marie Challenge, which is called the Scrap Attack. And this is, I think this is my last video on that. I was going to do a couple other videos, but I ran out of time between trying to get schoolwork done and participating in the challenges. So I had a couple papers due, I had a bunch of stuff due just before this quote unquote spring break that doesn't feel like a real spring break. Anyway, so these are all of the scraps that you see here. Right now I'm over there using my trimmer, and these are all of the scraps that you see that I have came up with that I thought I could use for this particular photo. Now the mint green solid cardstock that's right there in the back is not part of the scraps, but I needed a solid base so that I could start with to start scrapping this photo on. And yes, this is in real time. I do scrap this slow. I think I've done a real time video once before, but I think, yeah. Anyway, so what I'm trying to figure out is if I want to add this extra black on here, which I'm going to go ahead and do, and trying to add on the different layers here so that I can get this picture, nice and everything, was a little difficult. So what I did was I put it aside because I want to add another layer, but I was trying to figure out what layer to add on there. So I took my scrap that you see here, this piece of scrap white, and I trimmed it down because I want some of the mint to be shown around the edges. And then I also trimmed this piece down because I want some of the mint to show, and plus I wanted to line up properly with the white. And so trying to, I said once before, trying to figure out if I wanted to layer that photo again. You'll see a little bit later on that I add another layer to the photo. I'm not sure if I liked it at the time when I did it, but we'll see. So I trimmed this down, and as you can see, I'm trying to make sure that I get it even because I am the queen of uneven. And so I'm making it so I could have it even. And I did. And I actually did it, and I was really surprised at myself for even getting it even. I mean, there's a tiny, tiny bit off, but whatever. At this point, who cares? So I put the photo up against it, and that's when I decided that, you know what, I need another layer. And so that's when I go ahead and I add on this piece of scrap that is from an old company from back in the day called SEI. And I've had that piece of scrap, I don't even want to say, but it's been in my stash. The whole paper's been in my stash for a while. I've used it in other layouts, but that was what was left of it. It's a really unique type of paper too. It's very thick, and they started like the foil embellishing and all that other stuff way before everybody else did. Um, and it just really, really surprises me on how the foil embellishing and the and all that stuff started coming out when that particular company started a long time ago. So I think I'm satisfied now that I got that other layer, and I am. And so for I was thinking of maybe adding another layer, but I don't think I'm going to end up doing that. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I did find these strips that will bring out the photo, and I think I did reason. Oh, I did not do another layer because that's why I wanted the black strips to be more pronounced on the layout. And so what I did was I just left it like that. Now you see me going ahead and adding this first panel here down, and I'm going to be putting that down on the layout. So I'm going to be adding some of these panels down, and you'll see it's going to take me a little bit to get them straight and everything, but so this is the new norm, being quarantined in the house here nowadays. Um, Even though we all have a scrap room, a scrapbookers, a scrap room full of stuff, there it does come that time when you do want to step outside and get some fresh air. I walk my dog. I've done about a couple hikes now so far, quite a few walks so far. Um, I'm just kind of, I don't like being pent up in the house. I really don't. That's not my personality. And so I am having a hard time dealing with this. At first, I thought I wasn't because I had, lots and lots to do. And I do have projects to do, but you want to take a break after, being in the house and being in there all day and messing around and, stuff like that. Luckily, I don't have um, a lot of schoolwork or anything like that anymore at this point. But I still am not a big fan of staying in the house all day. um, Plus, on top of that, it just limits. I mean, you could take pictures in the house, but I think it just limits a lot what you can take. I mean, you can't take any scenery. I mean, you could take off the internet someone else's pictures, but who wants to do that? I don't. Anyway, so this whole Corona thing, I've been kind of documenting in my bullet journal and kind of keeping up with what's going on and the new stuff. And occasionally, when I get something that I know is from a good source, I kind of, keep it and take it and, like a good writing or something like that. And I've gotten a couple good writings from a couple professors that have posted in the papers and things like that. And you know, they've, expressed their concern for the students, and I really appreciate that because I don't think people understand, a lot of other professors don't understand that the students are under a tremendous amount of stress because they're being bombarded. And this thing, the Zoom, which we all know about, and if you have more than one class and it's on Zoom, it's like with me, I had two classes that are on Zoom. Luckily, those two classes are on two different days, but it's pretty much like a mandatory thing for you to stay in front of your computer, just for attendance sake. And if you have one class back to back to back, which is, I have a classmate who does have two Zoom classes back to back, and so that's about almost 3 hours in front of the computer because of you know the Zoom. So I feel that a lot of the students should be given some leniency because this is the new norm now, and I think some of these professors are still in denial that this is how it's going to be for a while. I mean, honestly, my classes have all been canceled and put online until the end of the semester. So although we only got about, I think, like 6 weeks left of school, this does put I mean, a tremendous like bend in the whole um, schooling situation. And I feel for the parents who have to homeschool. I really do, who's never done it before. Uh, I feel for them too because this is new for them as well. So that's all I want to really say about the coronavirus. And on one more thing, all of these this information, this misinformation, everything, and people, doing things, and like when I was talking about the Zoom, we had a Zoom bombing in one of our class, which means that one of the someone gets a hold of the link and then puts a porno on there in front of like a class of maybe 30 or plus more, and it's just horrible. And I don't understand why people have to take something good and just automatically just make it just evil and make it bad. You just can't. Life is already tough enough, and then you have people who do things like that. So it's just been kind of like or what should I say, meh, eh. So trying to keep myself motivated as much as I possibly can. I do enjoy scrapbooking. I do, and don't get me wrong, I just don't want to be stuck in it. When you have the opportunity or the choice to not have to be stuck in something, then you won't do it. So, anyway, enough about that. I am back to this layout, which you can see it is almost done. I've added flowers. I've added jars at the bottom there. Um, the jars at the bottom, I forgot what they say. I'm not sure. I can't see it from here, but I don't have the layout in front of me either. But I did add some of that in there. Um, right now, you can see it's taking me forever to get the adhesive off, and that's a large part of this had been cut out due to the fact that it took me forever to glue some of this stuff down because it took me a while to get the adhesive off and put it onto the die cuts. And so, anyway. I hope you all are doing well out there. I really wish that we could have more videos because I've been going through YouTube and looking at videos and things, getting caught up with some of my subscriptions and some of my favorites. But there's not enough of us doing videos. There's some of us that are, but I wish there was more because I'm trying to myself as well. I've been putting up the scrap room tour videos. And then I also been putting up the Victoria Marie challenge videos. I mean, I'm working on Project Life as well in between, and I don't really like to videotape those because oh my gosh, they take me forever, and you don't want to ever see my process. I'd have to definitely speed that up. But anyway, like I said, I hope you all are doing well. I hope your families are all doing well. And I keep seeing signs and hearing things like we will get through this together. And I think we will as a nation. I think we're going to recover. We've recovered from worse. This is, not as bad, I don't think, as the others, except the fact that people are not surviving. And there are those who are. There's more surviving than there are dying, and they're not really posting those stats very well. But I think that as far as our economy is concerned, I think we're going to recover from this. As far as the losses and those who've lost their loved ones, um, it, that is healing. That's going to take some time. That's all I can say about that is that is healing. So, but I think mainly, um, I really don't voice my opinions a lot when I do my scrapbooking, but I am going to voice my opinion this time. And it is my opinion. Some of you may agree with this and some of you may not, but I think that this nation owes God an apology. I'm sorry. And I know those who don't believe in God, there's those who don't. I know those who are um, atheists. I know that. But this is I think we owe God an apology and I think we should repent. And that's my opinion. Hey, you can take it or leave it. I'm not one to voice all of that on camera or even in my videos, but this is what it is. Because if you think about it, um, we can't go to games, we can't go to functions, we can't gather in groups, we can't hang out in bars, we can't hang out in wineries, we can't hang out even in coffee shops and stuff. I mean, in school for young kids and for teenagers and for college students, all that stuff that we were doing and just hanging out and just thinking that, hey, yeah, let's get together. But when you really think about it, how many of us hung out to talk about God? And I'll leave it at that. And back on to my scrapbooking page. What I'm doing right now is I am cutting some strips, and I'm cutting the strips to go in the directions so that it won't be so plain. And how I deal with these strips, because I am not the one to get these straight, is I definitely glue them on Cricut on purpose. I got the idea because I know how I am, and I never could keep anything straight. So right now what you see me doing is I am journaling on these strips. And I journal a lot, by the way. I don't not only journal in my layouts, but I journal in my journal, bullet journal. And then if I have a lot more to say, I have a separate journal for that. So I definitely do a lot of journaling, and I do a lot of writing, typing and things like that, because I think that is my forte pretty much. Uh, so writing and journaling are they go together for me. So, and that's why I left this part of the process in, so you can actually see how long I take to journal, which isn't very long at all. And I'm doing each strip one at a time, and I'm writing down my thoughts about this scrap room. That's pretty much it. And it's only ends up being about I think 3 or 4 sentences. And that's all you really need, as long as you put something on there. I know some people struggle with journaling, but in my handwriting, I can care less. And I used to have that issue about my handwriting, but at this point in time, I don't care. If you can't read it, don't read it. I know that sounds kind of funny, but that's how it is. I mean, I'm journaling so I can put down in my words my thoughts about the scrap room. And each strip is, like I said, being glued down kind of like on a slant. And that way I don't have to worry about trying to keep them straight and keep them, going in the right direction. So, and I'm using the Nuvo glue that I've actually just kind of fell in love with. I've been using it for months now, and I really like it. So, and it works really well. Although I still got quite a bit of the Scotch glue, the quick dry glue, I still use that as well in my fine line bottle when I have something really, really tiny to glue, like sequins. All right, so that's pretty much um, the layout. I think I'm gonna be done with it after this. I, I think I end up adding some enamel dots and things like that, and I think that's it pretty much. So I don't know why I took the layout up, but you saw me bring it back, so I'm not sure. Anyway, so I am going to be adding some enamel dots, and I didn't have 3 clusters exactly per se, but I do have some flowers up there, and I was gonna put that big old star, but I changed my mind. I was like, "Oh, this is ridiculous. I'm not gonna put this on there." But as you can see, this process was left in as well, so you can kind of get an idea. And then I'm losing the enamel dots because they're getting stuck in my nails. Oh my gosh, how funny. Anyway, so I'm figuring out to put the colors as close to, like the mint green colors, close onto the white side here so that you could see them. And I end up putting a totally different color on the other side in clusters of 3. And you can see the colors there as well. So, so you can see I'm having a hard time trying to grab these enamel dots. So that's when I decided to go ahead and incorporate the tweezers because they help out a lot. Oh my goodness. So I think I figured, and I put the star back on the other sheet because I really didn't need it. And then I just start using, let's see, just a regular size enamel dots here. So how do you guys feel about, this is a question I'm posting. And it's a good question because I'm very curious. Um, how do you guys feel about journaling? Um, I know a lot of people say they don't like it. I know a lot of people say they save it for later, and then some people say they don't like their handwriting. So my question is this, and I'm asking that question because there is a book. It's an older book that had came out a while back, and I think I bought it in, oh gosh, I think 2010 or 11, somewhere around in there, and it goes over our handwriting in handwriting, in other words, your own handwriting when you're journaling. So how do you guys feel about it? Because I'm very curious as to want to hear what people's opinion is about journaling on their layouts, and if they wait, and why do they wait, and what is it about journaling that seems to stop them from putting it on their handwriting, sorry, put it in their own handwriting and on their layouts. And if you do like journaling, um, what is your your technique about it. I mean, because this might help other people. Like I said, I gave you my thoughts about journaling. I'm a journaler, so it doesn't bother me at all. Like in the beginning, it used to bother me because of the handwriting part of it all. But then I got to the point where I'm like, oh, no, that's okay. I don't really care if my handwriting looks like this. I mean, we all judge ourselves too harshly, I think, sometimes. So, and we don't give ourselves a break. So tell me what you think about journaling and how do you feel about it? Um, because, you know, there's a lot of people that just don't do it, and there's a lot of people that don't want to do it. I mean, there's all kinds of ways you can journal. So, yeah, just give your thoughts on that. Um, I'm done with this, and I thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me. I know this was rather long, but take care, be safe, and have a great and wonderful week. Bye bye, guys.